الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن سيدنا ومولانا محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله تبارك وتعالى عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين ما بعد إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم يتقارب الزمان ويقبض العلم وتظهر الفتن ويلقى الشح ويكثر الحرج أو كما قال عليه الصلاة والسلام. وقال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم إن لا يقبض العلم انتزاعا ولكن يقبض العلم بقبض العلماء أو كما قال عليه الصلاة والسلام. Respected elders and my brothers, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This Tuesday, in the early morning, we lost one of the greatest scholars, balki the greatest scholar would not be an exaggeration, of this era. The greatest scholar of this era, Shaykh Yunus, alayhi Rama, may the blessings of Allah be upon him. How great he was, inshallah, you will soon come to know. But you can see how great he was that on his janazah there was 1 million people. Some say this is an exaggeration and they come out with a figure of 500,000. Either way, let's take the smallest of the two figures. 500,000 people attended his janazah, and they were all locals. There was no time for people to come from other states of India. India is 10 times, patani how many times bigger than this country. You know, when a janazah takes place and the burial is only a few days after, people don't have time to come from London. And how big is England? And then, Hindustan. How many times is it, bigger than England? Yeah. Even if you go by the smaller number, 500,000 people, my young friends, is no joke. Tell me which king of any era received a sending off like this. Any king of any era, yeah, of any era that received a sending off like this. One of the signs of the final hour is that the Prophet ﷺ said, "Yataqarabu zaman." Zamana will come close. There'll be no barakah in time. It'll fly by. Years will pass by like months, months will pass by like weeks, weeks like days, days like hours, and hours like minutes. You're witnessing this. You're seeing this. Prophet ﷺ said, وَيُقْبَضُ الْعِلْمِ. Knowledge will be taken. At this moment in time, the Tablighi Jamaat will tell you how much ignorance prevails. How many people they meet on a daily basis that struggle to read the kalima La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. وَتَظَهَرُ الْفِتَنِ. Fitnas will be everywhere. We're seeing this. وَيُلْقَى الشُّحْ. Greed will be thrown inside the hearts of people. People won't be content. Today people are accumulating wealth irrespective whether it's halal or haram. Their greed gets the better of them. وَيَكْثُرُ الْحَرَجِ. Prophet ﷺ said killing will be on the increase. In another hadith, Prophet ﷺ explaining how knowledge will be taken. It's not that somebody who possesses knowledge all of a sudden next day will wake up and he totally has forgotten what he knew the day before. No, that's not how Allah will take away knowledge. Prophet ﷺ mentioned, إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يَقْبِضُ الْعِلْمِ انْتِزَاعًا وَلَكِنْ يَقْبِضُ الْعِلْمِ بِقَبْضِ الْعُلَمَاءِ. Allah, the way He will take knowledge is by taking ulama, by giving death to the ulama. How many ulama, great ulama have died in recent times? Never mind recent times, balki just in this year. You know, one of the greatest Sheikul Hadith of Pakistan, Hazrat Maulana Salimullah Khan Sahib, he passed away. Not so long ago in South Africa, Maulana Abdul Hafiz from Makkah al Mukarramah, he passed away. And only on Tuesday you had Maulana Ismail Badad Sahib, and then Hazrat Shaykh Yunus Rahimullah, the greatest scholar of our time, he passed away. So you know what the Prophet ﷺ mentioned in this hadith, we're clearly seeing this. We're living those times where Allah's taking, you know, the great scholars, and no one can take their places. Now, who was Shaykh Yunus Ali Rahma? As that Shaykh Yunus was one of the senior students of Sheikul Hadith Maulana Muhammad Zakaria Rahmatullah Alayh. Now, who was Hazrat Shaykh Zakaria Rahmatullah Alayh? My young friends, go in any masjid where tabligh is active, or even if it's not active, after Asr in general, they read a book of hadith in which hadith has been explained in simple words for the day-to-day Muslim. They read a book called either Tablighi Nisab, or they read a book called Fazali Amal. It's probably one of the most read books on planet Earth. Hazrat Shaykh Ali Rahma is the one that wrote this book. But this was not his only work. By the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Hazrat Shaykh has written great works. For example, the commentary of the Mu'atta Imam Malik, known as Awjisul Masalik, and many words, commentary on Bukhari, many works. And today, you and I in this country, balki millions across the globe are benefiting. Everyone is benefiting at this moment in time indirectly from Hazrat Shaykh Ali Rahma. His students are in every corner of the globe. And every one of his students was an epitome of guidance. They were different, they were something special. In every corner of the globe. Whether it was Hazrat Maulana Abdul Rahim Rahmatullah Alayh in Lusaka, Zambia, set up a Darulum there where thousands benefited. Whether it was Dr. Ismail Mehman who set up a Darulum in America and thousands have benefited and benefiting. Or whether it was Maulana Mazhar in Canada, Montreal, where thousands are benefiting, or whether it was our Hazrat Ji, Hazrat Maulana Yusuf Mutala, may Allah give him a long life, who set up a Darulum in England, where thousands have balki millions have benefited and benefiting. Everyone in England is benefiting from Hazrat Maulana Yusuf Mutala. The whole of England are indebted to two people for their deen. One was a man called Hafiz Patel Sahib, he doesn't need introduction. And the other is Hazrat Maulana Yusuf Mutala. Hafiz Patel Sahib is a disciple of Hazrat Maulana Yusuf Mutala. Hazrat Maulana Yusuf Mutala is a disciple and student of Hazrat Shaykh. I am a student of Hazrat Maulana Yusuf Mutala. The hundreds that come here, you benefit from me. Who did I benefit from? Hazrat Maulana Yusuf Mutala. Those in Howard Street benefit from Maulana Irshad. He's a student of Hazrat Maulana Yusuf Mutala. Those that go to Abu Bakr Masjid benefit from Maulana Fazaldad. He's a student of Hazrat Maulana Yusuf Mutala. All those that go to Madri Masjid benefit from Maulana Ibrahim Sahib. Maulana Ibrahim is a student of Hazrat Maulana Yusuf Mutala. Every single one of us in England indirectly is benefiting from Hazrat Shaykh Ali Rahma. And we're all indebted to him. Maulana Shaykh Yunus Ali Rahma was a senior student of Hazrat Shaykh Rahmatullahi Alayh. You read in books, about our Salaf al-Salihin and how they sacrificed their lives for knowledge. Now you read with regards to Imam al-Shafi'i, 16 years he sustained himself on dates. And he would only eat that many dates just to survive. That would sustain him, that would keep him alive. And he was so poor that he couldn't afford to buy paper. He would write on stones and skins. That's how poor he was. Now you hear of people like Imam Bukhari became penniless, and there was days on which he lived on leaves of trees. You hear of people like Hafiz ibn Manda who left at the age of 20 and did not return home till the age of 65 to acquire Nur-i Nabuwa, the light of Prophet ﷺ, the Hadees of Rasulullah. You hear of people like Baqi ibn Makhlad al-Qurtubi who spent 34 years acquiring the sacred knowledge, so much so that he walked from Muslim Spain to different corners of the globe just to acquire this blessed Nur, blessed light. And when you read about people like this, you wonder, okay, will we ever see anyone like this again? My young friends, without exaggeration, Shaykh Yunus was from amongst those individuals. He was from amongst those individuals. He spent his entire life serving the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He became the greatest scholar of the time in spite of the fact that the odds were against him. At the age of 5, his mother passed away. His father wanted him to focus on farming, as they would do in those days. Yeah. Even him, when he came to study to Saharanpur, he became so ill, that his asatiza feared that he would die. And they begged him that he should return back to his home and get ilaj. But Shaykh Yunus Ali rahmatullah was the passion to learn the deen of Allah, that he refused to go. So much so that his Shaykh, as Shaykh Zakiri rahmatullah Ali, then said to him, "Bhai, pade raho. If you don't want to go, then out of anger that he's not listening, pade raho, then just stay here." And indeed he stayed there till his last breath. And that's where he died. 50 years he taught the most authentic book of hadith. 50 years he taught the Sahih of Imam al-Bukhari. And he was appointed to teach at a very young age. Normally what happens is, when you graduate from a madrasa and you're going to go into the field of teaching, books, they will make you start right from the beginning. From the first year, you start teaching the first year. And that's how it works even in the secular world. Yeah, you start teaching, they don't allow you to teach the students that are doing PhD straight away. You work and you build yourself, you build your istiqdad, and that's how you get there. So when people normally get to teach the Sahih Imam al-Bukhari, their beard is on the verge of turning white. And here at a very young age, as Shaykh Ahmed Ali, such was the confidence in this student of his that he appointed him to teach this Sahih of al-Bukhari at a very, very young age. And why not? Such was the caliber of Shaykh Yunus Ali Rahmah, that on one occasion, Maulana Abul Hasan Ali Nadwi and the whole world, the Arab world as well as the non-Arab world, there is no one ignorant with regards to when it comes to Sayyidina Abul Hasan Ali Nadwi rahimullah. Once asked, wrote letter to different scholars asking them with regards to a particular hadith and the reference of this hadith. Nobody got back to him. Months passed like this. Finally he wrote a letter to Hazrat Shaykh Zakiri rahmatullah alayh, that if you can help me with regards to a particular hadith. Hazrat Shaykh rahmatullah alayh called Shaykh Yunus, who was only a young individual at the time. Okay, Yunus, Hazrat Mawli Ali Nadwi rahimullah wants to know this hadith. Do you know of this hadith? There and then, as Shaykh Yunus informed Hazrat Mawlana Zakariya rahmatullah alayhi with regards to the hadith, and he gave the reference of the hadith. As Shaykh wrote back to Hazrat Mawli Ali Nadwi that Yunus ni bata diya, that Yunus has informed me with regards to this hadith. This is the hadith. Hazrat Mawli Ali Mia was so astonished and shocked that he's written to so many different scholars, great scholars, and he's got no response. And here this individual called Yunus has come up with a reference that he came to Mazahir al-Ulum and he met Hazrat Shaykh and he asked, I want to meet this Yunus. Who's this Yunus? Out came a young individual who didn't even have a beard at the time. His beard was still growing. He didn't have a full beard. And he came out with a kurta, you know, that's the creased, old, tatty, and wearing a simple lungi. So when Hazrat Maulana Ali Nadwi, who was, you know, world renowned, when he saw this individual, he said to the Shaykh, no, I don't want to see him. I want to see that Maulana Yunus that you were referring to in your letter, that informed you of the reference of this hadith. And as the Shaykh smiled and said, this is the Yunus that I was referring to. You know, so competent he was that, you know, Hazrat Sheikul Hadith, Maulana Zakaria, would consult him. But he's, you know, mentioned his views in his books, that this is what Yunus has to say about it. Yeah. As the Shaykh would send senior ulama to Maulana as Shaykh Yunus rahmatullah alayhi, especially when it came to the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Balki, you'd be surprised that Hazrat Shaykh once wrote a letter and he gave it to Shaykh Yunus. And he said to him, don't open this letter. You know, open this letter after 40 years. He wrote a letter and he told him, open this letter after 40 years. You know, very recently, a few years ago, Shaykh Yunus asked people, you know, look for this letter inside the room somewhere. It was found. And this is what Hazrat Shaykh wrote at that time. You know, something to the effect he wrote, okay, this is the first year you're teaching Bukhari. It's my 41st year. When you get to your 46, you know, after another 46 years, you'll even surpass me. After 46 years, you will even surpass me. You know, the remarkable thing is, look at the prediction of Hazrat Shaykh Zakaria rahmatullah alayhi. You know, Allah wale. Yeah. How did Hazrat Shaykh know that Shaykh Yunus was going to live for so long? Especially when Shaykh Yunus was so ill that only a few years ago, when he was in, you know, in Madinatul Munawwara, in the Haram, nobody, you know, everyone thought that he's going to die, that he's not going to survive. An amazing thing is, you know, never mind the 46th year, as Shaykh Yunus Ali Rahma taught the Sahih al-Bukhari for 50 years. This is how much confidence as Shaykh had in him, that he appointed him when he, you know, when his beard hadn't even fully grown, to teach the most authentic book of hadith. And such was the passion for hadith that he didn't marry. You know, in this area of fitna, not marrying. This is how much love he had for hadith. Not because he didn't believe it was a sunnah. There was no one that acted upon the sunnah more than Shaykh Yunus Ali Rahma. Yeah. He didn't marry because when you marry, it brings about many responsibilities. Then you can't focus, you know, give all your attention to the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That's why he didn't marry, and he chose to spend his life with the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, following in the footsteps of great scholars like Imam Nawawi and Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahumullah and others that didn't marry. Yeah. You know, there were times when he would spend 20 hours a time studying. 20 hours in a day, that's all he would do was study, and he would only leave for the time for namaz. You know, there were times, you know, he'd after Isha, he'd sit down for mutala like this. He would rest on his elbows and he would look inside the book like this. And the next you would know it is, some student would come and he would inform him, okay, Azad, it's time for Fajr Salah. And then he would go for Fajr Salah. Such was the passion of hadith that, you know, the Musnad of Imam Ahmad, on one occasion he read it 4 times. The Musnad of Imam Ahmad contains 27,000 hadith. 27,000 hadith. He read it 4 times because he was looking for a particular word of a hadith. So he read it 4 times. Such was the simplicity that he spent most of his life on the floor, sleeping on the floor. So you probably think, you know, in people in Hindustan, Pakistan, they sleep in the floor. You know, what's so special about that? My young friends, it's not that he only slept on the floor while he was in Hindustan. Allah had blessed him, like I said, my young friends. You know, people were prepared to give their lives for him. You know, Arabs in the Arab world, I'm talking about Arab scholars, that, you know, when he went to the Arab lands, they would feel it an honor just to rectify his shoes. You know, when he would take off his shoes somewhere and then come out to put on his shoes, they would see it as an honor to put them straight so as that Shaykh could wear them. This is, the ta'alluq that he had and the connection that he had. When he would stay in Makkah, where do you think he would stay? You've seen Zamzam Tower. The apartments right at the top where you can actually see the Holy Kaaba. That's where he would stay. These apartments, you can't put a price to them how much they cost. Yeah. These apartments are of luxury. Where do you think he would sleep? The beds are so cozy that, six people could, that's how big the bed is, where six people could sleep on. Yeah. In spite of that, he would sleep on the floor. His early life was that he was poor. So poor that he had only one bowl. From this bowl he would drink. From this bowl he would eat. This bowl he would use to wash his clothes, whatever. This is what he owned. He had no money even for food. But sometimes he had no money for food, that 3 days would go by in which he hadn't eaten anything. He had no money, and ghairat was such that he wouldn't ask anyone. He wouldn't ask anyone. He didn't have money to buy medication for himself. Yeah. So this is how his early days were. But afterwards, when Allah gave him such acceptance, there were futuhat. There was mali ghanimat. In spite of that, he chose to live a life of simplicity and a life of poverty. Why? Because the Nabi of Allah had chosen this. Prophet ﷺ was given a choice. Oh Muhammad, if you wish, we can change the mountains into gold for you. When the Prophet ﷺ was given a choice, in shi'ta nabiyyan malikan, when shi'ta nabiyyan abdan, what did the Prophet ﷺ choose? He chose to become a humble servant. And this Shaykh Yunus also chose to remain simple and humble. He lived in the madrasa. He believed, the children of the madrasa were his own. That was his family. And indeed it was his family, because his mother died when he was 5. His father died in 1985. His brother died his father died I think in 1987, and his brother in 95. He had no family. He chose to live in a madrasa in spite of the fact that somebody gifted him a house. He donated that to the madrasa. But not only did he donate the house to the madrasa, you'd be shocked to hear that whatever he would receive, he would donate. And I'm not talking about pennies here. In terms of rupiah, I'm talking lakhs. And in terms of English pounds, I'm talking thousands and thousands of pounds. Yeah. On one occasion, whilst he was in Makkah, who hasn't heard of, the Bin Laden company? Yeah. Bakr bin Laden came to visit as a sheikh. He was ill. And he bought a bag full of gold. And he gave it to him. Bag full of gold. Yeah. Hazrat didn't even keep 1 penny. He asked his students to go distribute this amongst the tahfiz classes going in the Haramain, where children become hafiz. Go distribute amongst the students and teachers of these tahfiz classes. On one occasion, whilst he was in the sacred lands, Arab students came with so much riyals that there were 2 bags full of riyals. 2 bags full of riyals. Again, he distributed every single penny. So much so, that Maulana Yaqub Dahlawi says that, when we took him to the airport, he asked him, will you lend me 100 riyals on this condition that when I repay you, you'll accept it? Will you lend me 100 riyals on this condition that when I give it back to you, you will accept it? Recent years, he'd instructed someone to give 1 bakra on his behalf every day. A goat was slaughtered on his behalf every day, and it was given to the poor. These were his instructions. You'd be shocked to hear that, one of his students here in England was in debt. When he came to know, he gave him £1,000. I've never heard of this. You hear of people sending money from England to Pakistan. You hear of people sending money from England to India. But you'll have never heard of anyone sending money from India to somebody in England. You'll have never heard this. And then a scholar, that didn't used to receive a wage. You know, in the madrasa, in the early few years, he took a wage. But then he said, you know, to the madrasa people, okay, I don't want a wage. I want to just rely upon Allah. So the madrasa people said to him, okay, no. You know, you're going to find it difficult. But he says, no, no, no. I want to rely upon Allah. And in the early years, he went through so much difficulty that he says he used to ask people for qarz. And with that, he used to buy his food and his medicine. Till one day, he cried so much in prostration and said to Allah, made dua to Allah, Allah, this is your creation, these birds and these insects, and you feed them. Oh Allah, I'm also from amongst your creation and I'm in need of help. So help me. He says from that day onwards, Allah took care of his affairs in such a manner that he never had to borrow money again for his food and drink. So he didn't even get paid. He relied upon Allah on a daily basis. Yeah. And he's sending money for his student £1,000. Balki my own ustaz, and you've seen him here many times, he's come here for our jalsas, Mufti Shabbir Sahab says on one occasion, he gave me £3,500 and said, oh Shabbir, use this for your daughter's marriage. This is how, you know, selfless he was. You know, on one occasion, somebody gave him 25,000 rupiye. As a Shaykh Yunus, he used them on, mehman that came. After a few months, 4 or 5 months passed, this man came and said, Shaykh, wo zakat ke paise the. The money that I gave you was from zakat. As a Shaykh was so saddened at this, that you know what, thereafter he kept on giving that money. Ke bhai mere zimme wo zakat thi, he'd take it, he would say to his students, go give them. How much money do you think he gave? That money was 25,000 rupees which he used. You know, his student Maulana Hanif says, he gave me so much money, that I think, in place of that 25,000 rupees, he gave 6 lakh. 6 lakh. Yeah. Such was the, the taqwa and the piety that, when he fell ill, he rang Maulana Talha as a Sheikh's son, asking for forgiveness, saying to him, look, I took a piece of paper, a piece from a newspaper that was inside your house without asking your father permission. I took a piece from a newspaper inside your father's house without permission. Yeah. And what happened was, he came across a reference and he was in need of writing that reference. And he had nothing. So there was a newspaper there. He took a little piece, like this, and wrote on that paper. Yeah. And he's asking forgiveness for that. And he said, in my entire life, I've never used anyone's possession without asking permission first. He says, in my entire life, I've only lied 3 times, and even that was in my youth. Once for the fear of my mother, once fear of my father, and once fear of my ustaji. I mean, who doesn't know Maulana Tariq Jamil? On one occasion, he said to Maulana Tariq Jamil, oh Tariq, तुझ में बहुत गुरूर आ चुका है, बयान करता है ना, you do all these bayans, as a result of which there's a lot of ghurur and takabbur inside you. And he left it to that. A few years passed, and Maulana Tariq Jamil Sahab came to visit him. So as Shaykh Yunus said, oh Tariq, I've been looking for you for so long. Oh Tariq, I'm ill, I don't know when I will die. Yeah? मैंने तुझे डांटा था ना, I'm asking you for forgiveness to forgive me. I told you off a few years ago, please forgive me, my time has come. I'm going to leave this world. I may be held to account for that. Yeah, please forgive me for that. And as Maulana Tariq Jamil Sahab said to Shaykh Yunus, we need our elders like yourself to rectify us, warna this ghurur inside us will destroy us. This is how humble and down to earth he was. I mean, what to say of how he acted upon the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. That even, the date seeds when he was in Madinatul Munawwara, he wouldn't throw them away. He would ask somebody to bury them. He performed Hajj over 40 times, around 40 times. Yeah. And every time he would leave Mina on the 13th. Whereas if you look, when you go for Hajj, 95%, balki 98% of the Hajjis leave on the 12th. Because they just can't wait to leave Mina. The Prophet ﷺ, alangki it's permissible, the Prophet ﷺ left on the 13th. As a Shaykh in every Hajj following the Sunnah of Rasulullah left on the 13th. And he would do Rami himself. in the Sunnah time, in spite of the fact that he was on a wheelchair, the last few years, and he was Mariz, where you can appoint someone to do Rami on your behalf. Yeah, he would do it. And there were times, there's so much beard down there, for those that have been, there's millions of people that, on occasions he was told, don't go at this time, go afterwards. And he would say, look, if I'm going to die, then let it be I die while I'm practicing upon the Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Never mind now how many people have seen the Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in a dream. Yeah, Shaykh himself, how many times he saw Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in a dream, you can't count them. Balki he saw Allah, from what I've been informed, twice. Even when he was alive, never mind now who people are seeing dreams about him. Yeah, when he was alive, a Tunisian scholar saw a dream, Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam saying, with regards to Shaykh Yunus, that he is the Amir al-Mu'mineen fil Hadith. Amir al-Mu'mineen fil Hadith, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam saying this. With regards to his death 3 years ago, an Arab scholar called Sheikh Muhammad ibn Ahmed al-Hariri saw a dream. He saw the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his face is covered with a piece of cloth. When it's uncovered, the person that resembled him most was Shaykh Yunus. This is the dream that he saw 3 years ago. On Tuesday when his Shaykh passed away, and pictures of his, him lying, dead on that charpai were sent to Shaykh Muhammad ibn Ahmed al-Hariri. He said, this is exactly what I saw in my dream 3 years ago. Yeah. And look how Allah honored him. Allah honored him that you have had 1 million people turning up for janazah. May Allah, give us the tawfiq to value these people. It's sad that, that we learn about these elders, at this moment in time. And he was accepted, not just, in Hindu Park. He's got students in every corner of the globe, from Arabs to non-Arabs, to Syrians, to Lebanese, to Malaysians, to Indians, to Pakistanis, to Bangladeshis. Every corner of the globe. This is the loss that you and I, we've all suffered only a few days. The least that we can do is come, my young friends, read Quran on behalf and give Isale Sawab, and contribute that there are wells being and masjids are going to be built for his Isale Sawab. That's the least that we can do in appreciation that what he did for the ummah of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam.